Hi, I'm Hemel, a qualified business analyst, project manager, and program manager who has over 18 years of work experience as well as a master's in information systems. Today, I'm going to take you through what is Bitcoin as well as understanding its investment potential. Let me ask you something to start with. What if back in 2009 someone told you that a brand new type of money created by an unknown person on the internet would one day be worth more than gold companies, worth more than banks, and even some countries' currencies? That just sounds crazy, but this is exactly what's happened. In this video, I'm breaking down what Bitcoin actually is, why people call it digital gold, and what its investment potential is, and what it could really look like in the future. Especially if you're based in the UK, this is about no hype, no jargon, just clear, practical understanding about Bitcoin. So, what is Bitcoin? Well, Bitcoin was born in 2009, right after the global financial crisis in 2008. And that timing wasn't random. It was launched by a mysterious figure, or potentially a group, known as Satoshi Nakamoto. To this day, no one knows who that individual is or who that group is. But what they created completely changed the idea of money. At its core, Bitcoin is a digital currency. There are no physical coins, no notes, nothing that you can hold in your hand. It exists entirely online and is secured by something called blockchain technology. Blockchain technology is public, it's tamper resistant ledger that records every single transaction. Now, here's the big difference. Bitcoin doesn't belong to any government or bank or company. There's no central authority pulling the strings, no central bank deciding to print more money overnight. Instead, Bitcoin runs on a global network of computers, and each of those follow the same rules. That independence is exactly why so many people pay attention to it. You'll often hear Bitcoin compared to gold, and that's not just a catchy phrase. Firstly, scarcity. Bitcoin has a hard cap of 21 million coins, and that's it, forever. No matter how high demand goes, no one can create more. Gold is scarce because it's hard to mine. Bitcoin is scarce by design. Secondly, inflation protection. Think about what's happened to everyday prices over the last few years. Food, fuel, energy, everything costs more. Many investors see Bitcoin as a hedge against that kind of currency, whereby things are moving up and up and up. And your money that you have in your pocket loses purchasing power. The third thing is about control, or rather, lack of control. No single government or institution can change Bitcoin's supply or rules. That decentralization is a big reason people trust it as a long term store of value. So, what do people actually use Bitcoin for today? One major use is global payments. Sending money internationally through banks can be slow and expensive. Bitcoin allows peer to peer transfers across borders, which is often faster and cheaper, especially for large amounts. It's also increasingly accepted by merchants, from online retailers to travel services. Now there's more and more businesses that are accepting Bitcoin as payment. It's still not mainstream, but you know what? The adoption is growing. And of course, there's investment. Many people buy Bitcoin not to spend it, but to hold it, hoping its value increases over time. This concept of buy and hold is a great mindset to have, and it's probably one of the most common ways that investors approach Bitcoin today. I'm personally invested in Bitcoin, and I own a small amount, but I see it as a really important part of my investment portfolio, as well as my stocks and shares ISA. Looking ahead, Bitcoin isn't standing still. we're already seeing financial integration with products like ETFs and even pension exposure making Bitcoin more accessible, particularly for UK retail investors who want regulated entry points. There's also potential expansion into decentralized finance, or DeFi. While Bitcoin itself is simple by design, new layers and technologies could allow lending, borrowing, and even advanced financial services to be built on top of it. And then there's technology. Innovations like the Lightning Network aim to make Bitcoin faster and cheaper and more energy efficient, solving some of the criticisms that people have often had about Bitcoin. Now let's talk numbers, because this is where everyone's attention really spikes. Bitcoin reached a record high of just over $126,000 in 2025. That's not speculation, that's already happened. If you zoom out even further, the growth is staggering. Since 2015, Bitcoin has increased more than 400 times in value. To put that into perspective, if you invested £1,000 10 years ago, it would be worth over £368,000 today, which is absolutely massive. Some analysts believe that the upside is just not over yet. There's a couple of experts who have got different values. One of the experts thinks that it will be over $225,000 for a single Bitcoin in the coming years. But this is crucial. Bitcoin is extremely volatile. Prices can swing dramatically in short periods of time. It can have massive gains as well as sharp drops. And you know what? That's all part of the story of Bitcoin. So, is Bitcoin a good investment? On the plus side, it offers high return potential, portfolio diversification, and protection against inflation. Adoption is actually growing at present, which adds a lot of credibility and a lot of long-term interest in Bitcoin. But the risks are very real. Bitcoin prices can drop sharply without any warning at all. Also, regulations can change. And in the UK, cryptocurrency investments are not protected by the FSCS. That means if things go wrong, there is no safety net at all. The FCA is clear on this. Only invest money you can afford to lose completely, and make sure you are extremely cautious of any scams. So, like me, if you decide to buy Bitcoin, make sure you buy it safely. You must choose a regulated exchange. Platforms like Coinbase, Binance, or eToro that comply with UK regulations. I've purchased cryptocurrency on all three of these platforms. You also need to set up an account and complete identifying your verification. This isn't much hassle and it's quite easy, but it's done to protect you. This could mean either sending passport details or even driving license details to verify who you are. Once you've been verified, you can fund your account by just using a bank transfer or a debit card. And then you go ahead and make your purchase at the market price for Bitcoin. And then finally, security. Long-term holders often move their Bitcoin onto a hardware wallet. Normally it's called a ledger, something like NanoX, which then gives them full control of their assets. I've personally left mine on the platforms because I don't have much of it. One thing I must say, and it's really, really important, you should never share your private keys or recovery phrases with anyone. So, is Bitcoin right for you? It offers exciting opportunities as a digital store of value and potential long-term investment, but it also comes with uncertainty, volatility, and regulatory risks that can't be ignored. The smartest approach is educating yourself first. Be cautious, but also think about diversification. I would say start small, use trusted platforms, and stay informed with what's happening on the news. Bitcoin isn't about getting rich overnight. It's about understanding a new financial system and deciding whether it deserves a place in your portfolio or not. If you found this breakdown helpful, consider subscribing for more clear information on Bitcoin and investing generically. And as always, do your own research before making any financial decisions. Thank you very much for listening.